Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I'm here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And we're going to do an update on the Disney Skyliner situation. The Disney Skyliner, of course, being their aerial gondola that had a crash.
It's unexpected downtime.
A crash 2 weeks ago that led to unexpected downtime.
Right.
Disney PR has been in overdrive, trying to shut down anybody, even fan blogs, that are calling it what it was. It was a major cluster. It was an accident. There were people hospitalized. And I'm just appalled at how Disney's public relations has handled this. And they've even tried to control the fan media, the fan YouTubers, the fan whatever, sending out these memos. Oh, guys, it's not that bad. Really, it's not bad.
I want to say real quick before people complain. He said a major cluster, which it was, and an accident. He didn't say a major accident because, last time when you had your whole front of the car smashed in, they considered it a major accident, even though there was no blood.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, because someone tried to argue that it wasn't a major accident unless there's blood. We didn't say major accident. We said major cluster, which it was.
It is. This whole thing is a cluster. And my opinion of Disney's PR, after watching how they handled this, after watching how they tried to silence fan bloggers, and tried to basically get, pixie duster, like Disney fans, to lie for them, to perpetuate a lie. I'm appalled. I mean, this is on top of when they attacked WDW News today.
Well, as I say, they attacked them, and then they are going around like, oh, no, it's a malfunction and unexpected downtime. Well, yes, I mean, if you look at it from that point of view, it was a malfunction that caused the crash. Because, I'm sorry, when vehicles smash into each other and pile up, that's a crash. That caused unexpected downtime. But the unexpected downtime caused some medical issues for people that were trapped in the gondolas for over 3 hours. And actually only some of them were evacuated. Most of them had to wait till the gondolas started working again, according to the one news site, to get them out. Yeah,
so we're going to cut through the bullshit here. And the reason we're doing this, we are Disney fans, we are Star Wars fans, we are Marvel fans, but we're watching the things that we love get destroyed by the company for short-term gains, and then they're talking, then they're smacking down their hardcore fans.
Yeah, if you don't like it 100%, if you question anything, call BS on anything, you're not a fan. You're just a troll. You're just, you wish you were a fan. You wish you've been to Disney.
Oh, for God's sake, I'm not even going to go there with people. Like, we've been to Disney more times than we can count. Okay, so we're gonna play these 911 calls.
Well, before we do that, subscribe.
Yeah, please subscribe to the channel. It's very important that you do subscribe to independent channels because Hollywood mainstream media are basically trying to push everybody out of YouTube.
Yeah, now they're starting to bring celebrities in and trying to promote their channels and get paid, so they bury channels like ours. So make sure that you subscribe, make sure you share, make sure you're still subscribed, because for some reason people could get unsubscribed from our channel. No idea why. But double check those things. I may or may not cry over this 911 call because I'm a mom and it's an 11-year-old girl and she's scared. So I'm probably going to cry. So I'm warning you ahead of time.
But we're going to play the 911 calls from the gondola. They have been released. This is going to be harder and harder for Disney to deny that this was an accident, that this was traumatic. And they just want to go on like it's business as usual. We're going to talk about some other websites that have been targeted by Disney PR and their kind of Gestapo PR techniques, which appalls me.
Well, we have a lot of weird rando accounts keep showing up on ours.
And we're going to be honest here. We have had, ever since we started covering Disney and the Rise of Skywalker, we have had all of these random accounts show up that I don't recognize these people at all. And you check their profiles and they're either newly created accounts or they are caricatures of what they think our audience is like. Like they have it in their head that our audience is like far right incel type people.
Which is not true.
And it's not true at all. But they create a caricature of what they think that audience is. And particularly they've been going after Geeky.
Yeah, it doesn't work, guys.
And trying to play that like, look, I'm a misogynist, so I'm going to go after Geeky.
Doesn't work.
And it's probably, I'm going to be honest, I used to think, because there was a lot of talk on Twitter about how Disney potentially was paying people to go around and thrash YouTube videos. I thought it was kind of kookaloo at first. I'm like, I don't know what they would have to gain by that. But after I saw the PR techniques used to contain the Skyliner incident, knowing how much money is at stake for Disney, I will be honest, I don't know if anything would surprise me at this point.
Yeah, you're not saying they are doing it.
I'm not saying they are.
I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case.
I'm not saying they are. I just know that Disney is in full-on panic mode right now and they're going to links I never thought they would go to try to contain
Right, because,
the
you know,
negativity.
this is all going to come out, and now 911 calls are out. So let's talk about that, because that's what the point of this was.
Yeah, let's talk about that, and then we'll talk more about, you know, some of the PR kerfuffles here. All right, this is coming from the Orlando Sentinel.
911, what's the location of emergency?
Hello.
You're at Skyliner at Epcot?
Yeah.
Okay, tell me exactly what happened.
We're in, like, not, I don't know if we're stuck or something, but they're saying we're, like, delayed, and my mom has epilepsy.
Is she having a seizure right now?
No. She has anxiety.
Okay. How old is your mom, do you know?
38.
38? Okay. And you're with her right there?
Wait, it's moving. She needs an ambulance.
Okay, they are coming while we're talking. It's not stopping them, okay?
Okay.
I'm here for you. Just let me know if she changes or does anything different, okay? How old are you?
I'm 11.
You're 11?
Yeah.
Okay.
My mom. Please.
Talk to her. She.
What's going on? Okay, tell her to take slow, deep breaths.
Her hand.
What's happening?
Her hand, please.
I know.
She can't hold that much, please.
I know. I'm trying to get them to you.
How much longer?
It should be just a minute. I'm trying to get them to you.
Okay, please hurry. Like.
Battalion 4, Skyliner's incident. Skyliner station.
I know. I'm here. Just let me know if anything changes.
My mom needs to hospital right now. Please.
I know. I'm trying to get them to you.
Please. Also, the woman is trying to hold on.
I know.
Please.
They're coming to you.
Can you tell them to move the face, please?
I know. I'm trying to get them to help you and move the cars.
She's have a seizure.
I know.
Do not sing. Why can't these people do not sing? Why would they make this at all?
I can't do anymore. I'm sorry. I can't do it. I'm sorry.
That was one call. There were multiple calls. And look, I get, you know, we were stuck on, you're okay?
I just can't. I'm a mom and I'm a teacher and our daughter's 12 and I just can't.
We were stuck on the monorail about 2 years ago. We're stuck on Monorail Blue when it went down. And in fact, if you go find videos, I'm the guy who was calling saying, hey, the monorail's on fire. And that was scary. But the thing is, with the monorail, you knew worst case scenario. Well, one, you could see all the emergency vehicles below you. And the road was right there. We weren't that far out from the station. But you also knew worst case scenario, they could just go get like one of those inflatable slides like they use
Or they tow you back or something.
Or they tow you back, which is what they did. But in this case, you're dangling in a metal box above the ground. And there doesn't seem to be any sort of safety measures in play for this. Because these people were there for 3.5 hours. You know, because of an accident. Because the cars crashed.
So when they're saying, oh, it wasn't a big deal. Bullshit. It wasn't a big deal. You tell this 11-year-old it wasn't a big deal. And she's like begging for help. You tell her. So
they're talking about the 11-year-old's call. There were some other calls.
There were.
Yeah. So there were I'm sure more and more are going to come out.
I don't have, I did an article on this. I don't have all these on there. I'm going to add them to it.
And look, you're in 90-degree Florida heat. There is no air conditioning in these little things. That was a concern people had when they first announced
this
it.
one.
Yeah.
A man told 911 that his wife was going in and out of consciousness and had a fever. The 32-year-old woman could be heard crying in the background as her husband relays that she has a heart condition and is on medication.
My wife just passed out and came back. I'm getting really concerned now. It's near 2 hours. This went on for 3.5 hours. She's breathing. She's just in a lot of pain. She's burning up. The man tells, this is bad. She's not going to last long. These cars don't have air conditioning. That was a big complaint people had originally with these was, yeah, they use them for ski lifts where it's cold.
Yeah.
And
they know air conditioning because it's going to be moving with ventilation. What happens when it doesn't move? Yeah. And the air conditioning, even if they have to shut power down, as we found out in the monorail, the air conditioning gets turned off anyways. So they said his mom was 88 in a wheelchair, and then she's getting overheated, and they're worried she's going to have a stroke.
She's overheated. Dispatcher tells them technicians are working on it. They're working on 3.5 hours. We don't want it running. We want off right now. All they need to do is pry the doors open. I could probably do it myself. I'm sure a couple of firemen could easily do it. Well, we're going to talk about that there's not enough people to handle this, that there were not apparently safety measures in play. Reedy Creek actually called Disney out and said, we don't have enough manpower for this shit.
And then, as I said, since the very first time we reported on this, they did everything they could. The first responders, like the 911 operators and people that were on the scene, they were there doing everything they could to get it taken care of, but they didn't have enough to do it, to get it done faster. They just didn't have what they needed.
Later in the call, the man indicates the door is open, although it's unclear how. He tells the dispatcher, I'm going to try to get her out. I'm stuck now. Ow. And then the line goes dead. According to another call, 36-year-old man with high blood pressure also passed out at the Skyliner station. The caller said he just left the gondola. It's unclear how long he was on board. Another woman called to check on her twin daughters who called to tell her they'd been stuck on the gondola. Others who said they suffered from anxiety also dialed 911 to see how long they would be up in the air.
I have an anxiety condition. I'm on meds for it. I can't imagine. I would have been freaking out. But I would have had to stay calm as much as I could for my kids.
To date, Disney has not disclosed the cause. No, because I think... I have opinions. To date, Disney has not disclosed the cause, with the spokeswoman calling it unexpected downtime on the night it happened.
Unexpected downtime. Yeah, it was unexpected downtime. That's technically correct. But you're not telling people why it happened. And when you find out what had happened, Disney, you need to make sure people know what happened, because if you don't, somebody else is going to say it, and it's better to have it come from you than somebody else.
Skyliner had only been open 7 days. Yeah, it was only open a week. Disney has not commented about photos from social media showing crumpled cabins at one of the loading stations. So here's their official Disney Parks blog spin.
I put it up on ours.
Following a complete review with the manufacturer, we've made adjustments to our processes and training, and we're improving how we communicate with guests during their flight with the Skyliner.
They weren't telling them anything. They were just playing the stupid message over and over. Now, granted, they probably didn't know anything to tell them, but then, Union
spokesperson for Reedy Creek Fire Department said the rescue required nearly all of its personnel, but then they backpedaled. They said they later disputed that. So this is where I have a problem. Okay, this happens. This kind of stuff happens.
It does happen.
Right? It does happen. It's weird that they tested them for 6 months. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Well, they weren't. It's not that weird. They did have way more crowds than they expected. They expected crowds, but when they were testing for 6 months, a lot of times it was without people in it. And when they tested with cast members or media, you didn't have the lineup of people. It was limited people. But after, as we mentioned before, they opened it up. Yeah. There was a lot of people, which they should have expected. Yeah. But a lot. It was running a lot harder than they had tested it at.
This is what I have a major problem with. Okay, I understand things happen. I understand maybe since it's new that they don't have all the safety measures in place they should. What I have a problem with is when you have objective news outlets that cover Disney parks.
Like ours.
Okay, and they've been honest and they've been supportive over the years. And Disney PR tries to tell them the sky is green when the sky is blue. Mm-hmm. And this is a tactic that Disney seems to be using all across the board anymore. Disney always tried to keep things hush-hush, but now they want their influencers and their friendly media outlets to outright lie for them and go so far as to attack fans who don't agree with the narrative.
Right.
I mean, this sounds less and less like a corporation, like a company, and more like a regime. Mm-hmm. It's scary. It is scary. And I never thought I would see Disney go to this level. And, again, we've been hearing Star Wars fans complaining about it for a while. We saw it firsthand ourselves. Mm-hmm. We've been hearing Marvel Comics fans and Marvel Studios fans complaining about it. We saw it ourselves with Captain Marvel.
The way people behaved, yeah.
Yeah. And now we're seeing it with the parks. This has got to stop, Disney. You cannot keep telling your friendly media outlets and your influencers to lie for you, because it
Well, a lot of them
always
are
comes
doing
up.
it because they don't want to lose their media access.
So you're getting paid
Well,
in
technically,
cupcakes.
it's not a lie. It was a malfunction. It was unexpected downtime, but you're deliberately minimizing the situation.
Well, I talked about this, and I said they kept referring to it as a malfunction to downplay it. They did crash into each other. We have photographic evidence. They crashed into each other. It was a dangerous situation for guests. We heard that 911 call. There were countless calls, I'm sure. Everybody's got a cell phone now. And I said, many of Disney's faithful took to their Access Media blogs, social media accounts, and even YouTube to help Disney spread this partial truth. I said,
We got called out so many times because we didn't toe the line.
by other
You're not real
YouTubers.
fans because you don't believe in pixie dust magic. It's like, I believe in pixie dust magic. I don't believe in bullshitting people.
Yeah, this is, we'll call it partial truth instead of a lie, because lie feels too negative, not Disney enough. On the blogs, it didn't help spread Disney's disinformation. Well, they apparently were lectured by Disney's PR people. We talked a little bit about this before. It was insane. There was some back and forth. WDW News Today, which has been on the receiving end of Disney's ridiculous PR Gestapo techniques. Thomas Smith, I'll freaking name him, on the Disney Parks blog, attacked WDW News Today, said that they were unscrupulous and that everyone should just listen to the Disney Parks blog for real news.
That's where you should get all your real news.
From the Disney Parks blog, owned and operated by the Walt Disney Company. I mean, think about it. This sounds like China.
Yeah.
I mean, this sounds like China. Like, you can't listen to any outside sources on it. You have to listen to
Only the real fans listen to Disney Parks blog.
Yeah.
Everybody else are just,
You have to read the Chinese people's paper. You can't listen to anybody else. And it's starting to crack. This is making Disney look worse. This attempt to shut people up is making Disney look worse. Jodie Bennett, I've actually had contact with her. I had contact with her on the other blog. I've lost respect. You're inaccurate
That's
information.
okay. They're not gonna give us media anytime soon. So
Disney Skyliner, inaccurate information. Disney Skyliner has unexpected downtime. Tom Corliss from WDW News Today wrote her back and was basically like, no, it's an accident, what you call it. And she's like, well, continue with your misinformation then. Did you hear the 911 call?
But no one was hurt. There was no problems. It was all okay. Here, how are you?
And the way it was even presented, inaccurate information alerts. Like, I mean, this sounds like a freaking regime. I'm appalled. We own stock in this company.
I'm sorry. I'm still upset about the 911 call, and you're like,
No, I know, but
blood pressure.
But here's another example of somebody in the comments that were
that's
like,
the person that was in the car.
that was in the car that got crushed. I'm sorry, the car got crushed. There are pictures. Disney, you can't hide this. It's all over the place.
You better just own it.
Just own it. Somebody screwed up somewhere. I don't know if it was because, my personal opinion, it was probably budget cuts, because they've been budget cutting the hell out of the parks lately. They brought Bob Chapek in. They've been cutting things. Their Q3 was bad. They got to pay for Fox. They got to pay for Disney Plus. Have they been cutting corners on safety?
I think they've been cutting corners on a lot of things. I really do. And I think they're so obsessed with this Disney Plus and all the, Star Wars Galaxy's Edge not doing well and everything else because they ruined the fandom, that they're just like, trying to get things up and running as fast as possible. But I mean, accidents happen, and what I was hearing was a sensor went out, and that this is all speculation. Nothing, they've not announced or anything. But what I was hearing was they thought there was a sensor, and the sensor usually tells the cars behind the car that there's a car in front of it stopping, and that it somehow didn't work. Things like this can happen, and things, that's understandable. I mean, it's terrible, but it's understandable. What isn't understandable and acceptable is the fact these people were left in there for 3.5 hours. A little 11-year-old has to. I can't. 11-year-old has to call 911 because she's afraid her mom's going to die and she's trying to take care or go into a seizure and no one's helping her. And even I don't mean disrespect to the person that was on the line with her, but they're just like, yeah, I know. I kind of got.
What can they do?
They can't do anything. It's not their fault.
They're in a chair.
They're trying to keep her calm, but they're almost seeming like they were a little bit annoyed with her. But she's 11. My daughter's 12.
Well, they've probably been fielding calls from people all night because everybody's got a cell phone.
They had her on the phone for an hour, 56 minutes. 11-year-old, just a little kid scared. The guy's thinking his wife is she has a heart condition, she's having a fever. Of course they're freaking out. It's got to be scary. They've talked to people that they specialize in this kind of thing, and they said 3.5 hours is unacceptable. They should not have had those people in those cars 3.5 hours.
No,
something should have been done before that. And accidents happen, things happen. If you go to a park, it's going to happen. It always does. It happens. But you have to be ready to respond to that. And the level, the not communicating with people, probably didn't want to start a panic. You might be up here 3 hours to start a panic. But that didn't help. 3.5 hours. 3.5 hours did not help. The emergency kits weren't stocked. And they were stocked with things that were like some people were pointing they had 1 bottle of water. I don't know if people raided the emergency kits in the car for souvenirs or what, which is totally possible. But they weren't stocked where they should have been. There's no air moving. It only circulates when the cars are moving. And those windows don't come out like the monorail, I don't believe. So, because they don't want you to fall, out the window. So, I mean, accidents happen, but there should have been better plans in place, better techniques in place, better ways to get air into the cars. There should have been better ways. It should have been better. Now you know this, so make it better. They were only down for like 10 days and they're up again. I don't think they'd run it unless they were sure it was safe because they don't want to, another black eye like this. But it's just.
And the lying and getting your influencers to lie for you.
Just tell the truth. I think people will respect you more. They understand mistakes happen.
People get accidents. They understand, but getting people to lie and refusing to acknowledge that it was an accident, it was a crash, that there were people hospital, whatever. Disney looks dumber now, trying to control all these media outlets, trying to push their pixie dust encrusted lie. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to call it what it is. It's a lie. Onto people and making them repeat that. And
had they been more worried about getting the damn people out of the vehicles than writing WDW News Today and telling them that that it was wrong information.
Yeah.
I'm like,
it's like if you're trying to avoid a lawsuit too late, there were hundreds, thousands of people stuck in these things for 3.5 hours. I don't know how many people were on them, but
it might have been thousands. I don't know. But
and lots of people
each car
calling.
holds 10, so.
And I'm sorry, but WDW News Today, a fan blog calling shenanigans, has no bearing on whether or not these people are going to come after you later. Because I guarantee you, everybody likes Disney money.
You can't lie about this now, because there's social media. There's cameras on your iPhone and your whatever Android phone. You can't like dismiss it now because there's photograph. You're telling people that this isn't happening as they're on social media, watching in real time as people are posting it. People were on parks, Disney pass holder blogs and stuff. They were having their comments deleted as they were talking about being trapped. Now that doesn't necessarily mean it was Disney. It was whoever ran the blog, but their blog was so afraid of Disney getting mad, they were deleting the comments of these people who were upset and scared because they were trapped on the Skyliner.
That was on the annual pass holders. No, that's the thing. Disney has their access media, their blog, so terrified of stepping out of line that they're not going to be invited to the next cupcake party that they're actually perpetuating falsehoods.
Partly why we think we got gone from our last blog because we were not afraid to step out of line.
Yeah, but other people, they're not going to be able to stop this. When you've got people like Pete Werner, who's come out before, and he flat said Disney's desperate. He owns co-owns the #1 Disney travel agency in the country. He runs the Diz boards. He's been doing this for like 20-some years.
Right, and that's a place, I mean, if you go to WW Info, I'd recommend them. WW Today, I'd recommend, for honest. Anyway, go ahead.
I would say, two honest blogs I think you can trust at this point. I think Pete Werner's blog you can trust, and I think WW News Today
I think WW Magic as well.
The Magic forums.
The forums.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. Because they're not really a news outlet, but the forums, there are Imagineers on the forums. And they haven't been drinking the Mickey's Magical Kool-Aid punch here. But Pete Werner, earlier in the week, he came back from a trip, and he's like, my God, this was a disaster. Again, top Disney travel agency. This could impact his business if he came out and said bad things about Disney.
But he said the truth.
He said the truth. And I have a lot of respect for him because of that. He said, when I heard about it, I knew it was going to happen. I didn't know when. People were already concerned about these things the minute they announced it.
That was one of the things we were worried about.
Yeah.
We're like, what if lightning? And he brings up lightning. I was like, oh my God, you're up on the thing on metal cars, and lightning can appear out of nowhere if you don't know it's
Florida,
coming.
Yeah, flash.
Boom, lightning. What if you're in the cars? That's one of the first things we said. But go ahead.
Metal poles, metal. I mean, this is a huge, being stuck for 3 hours is potentially nothing compared to what could happen with these things. But I love this comment from him. I mean, he was joking around. But so the one thing I've always wanted to do in my life is to take a shit on a gondola in front of 9 other people I've never met before, because it gave one defecation bag or something.
That's the Disney magic we all want.
And a bottle of water.
No, to be fair, though, some people would probably enjoy that.
Yeah, so this is where we're at with it. And again, we are people who have worked in and around the Disney company for like 15 years. You know, we know a lot of people at Disney.
Yeah. Are we going to get media access again? Most likely not.
I think regimes change. I'm going to be honest. I think regimes change. I think under the Chapek rule, I don't think so. I think eventually Disney is going to have to realize that attacking its fans in this way, people who have been covering Disney for like 10, 20, 30, years, Pete Werner's case, 20 plus years. This is not going to play well. Attacking Star Wars fans, attacking Marvel fans, like you're not winning anybody. And here's the truth. This is the truth. This is, Galaxy's Edge flopped. Tell me otherwise. It flopped.
Up till now. I mean, now when Rise of Resistance comes out, I'll be waiting to see that because that might make a difference.
Well, that might be a whole nother issue because people are saying there are problems with that ride.
We're going to get to that eventually, but not in this video. But so as of now, you could argue that, but that possibly could change. Continue.
Parks attendance is down.
That is true.
Down. Prices rise while Disney continues to cut back on entertainment.
100% true.
And I might actually argue they're cutting back on safety too. They're definitely cutting back on something.
We don't know what they did here, though. So we don't know because they aren't announcing anything. You can speculate that, but you don't know that. Go ahead.
Disney PR is out of control.
That is true.
That is insane. We need more passionate voices telling people the truth.
No, you're not allowed to. We get called all kinds of names for that.
Well, I mean, whether or not, I'm going to extend beyond the parks. And again, this we're covering this because it is kind of the unified theory of everything with Star Wars, with Marvel Comics, with the theme parks. Disney can't handle the truth. They can't handle the truth. And the Skyliner was an accident. And anyone who tells you otherwise, when you hear those 911 calls, when you see those photographs of broken glass, when you hear the account of the person who was they were actually in the car that was crushed.
It was crushing. It wasn't a crash.
It was crushing. Can you imagine being trapped in one of those cars as it's
okay, they're the yellow car pinned to the aqua car. If you see the pictures of the cars, they're in the yellow car pinned to the aqua car. The aqua car's one had the glass broken out. It wasn't a crash, it was crushing. The system was down for around 10 minutes and we were sitting in the car while cast members were going around cars doing a Disney trivia game, trying to keep them calm.
Yeah.
When the system came back on, the aqua car didn't move. We crashed up against it and the cars behind us crushed into us. You could hear the plexiglass breaking and the metal on metal. They freed us up fairly quickly, but it was a sudden drop and loud. I know at least 3 cars were damaged, our doors were bent up, and the vented glass was broken.
Can you imagine if this happened in the air somehow? Like if they had a pile up and, where they weren't at the turnstile where they could get off easily?
I don't know if it would happen in the air because they're spaced out.
Well, because they're stacking up against each other.
Because one couldn't move at the other. I don't think that could happen in the air necessarily, but definitely at the stations.
But again, the point of this isn't to be like, because we understand accidents happen.
Totally understand accidents happen.
But this is Disney, once again, telling people the sky is green when it's clearly blue. And they keep doing this. And they think if they repeat it enough times, people are going to believe it. And they're using their PR people to go out and, as far as I'm concerned, spread lies and attack anyone who doesn't toe the line. It's very cult-like. I think people would have been very China-like.
Would have been more respected Disney more had they just been upfront honest.
Yeah, if they just said there was an accident, we're doing the best we can do.
They went to the news and said yes, there is going on. We're trying to do our best to get it taken care of right now. We'll give a statement here as soon as we get. Right now, our priority is getting everyone off, that kind of thing. I think that people would have some respect there, but because they basically their go-to was to immediately try to tell people they were spreading lies when they weren't, and silencing everybody. That's the problem. Yeah, that is the problem.
That is the problem, and
accidents happen, but this was the problem.
I've lost so much respect at this point.
But if you want to hear, people try to be honest and find out what's going on. We do. WWDS Today does. I think Pete Werner does.
Pete Werner's definitely, he's definitely.
Magic, I believe, does.
WW Magic forums do.
Yeah.
There are people out there. I think I would consider like the old school Disney fans, who have been following Disney for a very, very long time and remember what the company was like before the dark days,
before the empire,
before it became an empire. They remember when Disney was, it was always big, but it wasn't an evil empire. And I feel like it's sort of, heading in that direction clearly. And the PR techniques go along with it. Like I said, it feels more like a regime than it does a company at this point.
Right.
And it's scary. It's scary,
But hey, the Skyliner's back up and running. I don't think they'd turn it back on if they didn't honestly think it was okay because there's too much at risk if something goes wrong.
Oh, it happens again. That's it. It's game over at that point.
So if you would like to ride it, I think you're okay to ride it. Understand though that if it would have a malfunction again, you might be up there for a while. I don't think that would be as long because after what happened last time. But I think you're okay to ride it. I'd probably ride it at least once because I just want to try it and see what it's like. They do go, we've heard from many people and we notice ourselves, they do enter the station a bit quickly, which I saw that when they were doing the testing. We're like, wow, that thing kind of flies into there.
Right in,
but it slows down by the time you get off. So you're not like zipping in that fast. It's a controlled zip. Let's put it that way. So you're okay. I think you're okay to give it a try. But do understand, the same for monorails, same for buses, the same for anything. Accidents do happen sometimes. Yeah. You have to understand that when you get onto these things.
Well, it happens on rides, happens on roller coasters.
Happens on the buses. Happens, you know, people driving themselves in get in accidents. It happens.
But you can't hide it.
But don't lie about it.
Yeah, don't lie about it. So we're going to wrap this one up. It's run pretty long, but I think we're both feeling pretty feisty about this.
I'm sorry, a little. I didn't mean to cry, but I knew when I heard it was 11-year-old I was going to lose it. And when she started losing, I lost it.
Yeah, so please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We got some Star Wars news coming up later today. We're going to talk about some other stuff. And again, we're really only talking about Disney because, you know, since Disney owns so much pop culture, this just shows kind of their mentality the whole way around.
40% of the box office was Disney this year. Of the big box office was Disney. So, I mean, you can't avoid it.
Can't avoid Disney. So we're going to wrap it up.
All right.
Bye. Hey guys, thanks for watching Clownfish TV. Please consider supporting the channel. Go to clownfishsupport.com. That's clownfishsupport.com. And if you want to join our community, go to clownfishtalk.com. That's clownfishtalk.com. Please subscribe, ring the bell for notifications. We will talk to you next time.